So I just went and saw the new Godzilla movie, and David couldn't just be here, I'm not really sure, but he couldn't just see it. So I'm gonna do this review by myself, and it's alright because I'm the one actually seen the Godzilla movies, the older ones. I have plenty of them, and I'm pretty big fan. So in 1998, America made their own Godzilla movie, and it just wasn't good at all. Pretty bad. But then now, when they actually made a collaboration with Toho Studios, they finally made a good Godzilla movie. I mean, okay Godzilla movie for the American public. Or, you know, for the rest of the world also. Not just for Japan. For myself, it's alright. I mean, the Japanese movies are pretty good. So, but anyway, so you could... First, in the beginning I thought this would be a reboot, but it isn't. And I'll get into the spoilers later. But for right now, for people that are not into spoilers, this is the beginning. So, it's about this guy. He's a U.S. military, and then Godzilla events happen, and in the end, he's gonna be one of the ones fighting in the Godzilla and stuff. And this may be a little spoiler for people, but it shouldn't be that big. But it is another monster in it, or two. But Godzilla will be fighting another monster, and that's something I first didn't expect. But then later on, I understood that because I started in the trailer, I saw some weird things that didn't look like Godzilla. So I started to understand that maybe it's gonna be another monster in it, and it was, and that was just made it more cooler. I mean, I had nothing against movies with just Godzilla, just to see how the humans try to kill him, or how they want to defeat him. But it's alright, and now we see Godzilla more fight as the good guy, not the bad guy. So that's something I did not expect actually. I mean, he did destroy buildings, but that comes with the job, I guess. This movie was a little more, had more death scenes. You saw people getting killed by Godzilla. Not from the other ones didn't have that much of it. I think one or two of them you actually saw him like crushing people, but here you saw a lot of that. People falling down, and I like that because I want some more action and more like horrors of the Godzilla fighting stuff. And this movie was more about the humans' perspective. I mean, there's always humans in the other movies, but here was actually that you never saw the camera following Godzilla all the time. It's usually more like you saw him sometimes fighting, and then of course in the big fighting scene you saw a lot of it, but that's at the end. If not, it was humans' perspective, and you actually got the feel of how big Godzilla actually was and other monsters. In the cinema, in the cinema over here, I don't know if something bad with the sound, but it just made it better. But because when the creatures made their sound, it made the chairs like move, so you actually it became a little 4D, and that's something I thought was cool. They didn't have the Godzilla music, but I guess it's alright. And then they didn't have the classic Godzilla sound either. We can't play it up right now because, you know, copyright. But I guess it was alright. I mean, it was something almost like the Godzilla scream. But I would like to have the classical one. Before the spoilers, I'll give this movie a 4 out of 5. Watch it on the cinema as I did. Okay, spoilers. Now. So, at the beginning, we have the guy from Breaking Bad, and I thought that was epic. But then he died at like somewhere in the middle of the movie, a little before the middle of the movie. He died. So I got a little bit sad about that because I want to see more about him. So that destroyed a little bit of it. But I guess the movie was okay anyway. But I want more of him, and then at the beginning they really hyped up Godzilla. I mean, because you see them looking through they found some eggs or something in the beginning, and they made this big station around them. At the beginning I thought it was Godzilla coming out of the eggs, so I was like, oh, this is a reboot. I guess it's alright, but I wanted more like respect for other movies that it was the same Godzilla. But when I started seeing when the egg is hatching, you see like stuff coming out of it, then I realized, wait a minute, this is not Godzilla, this is a monster. And it was a monster indeed, it wasn't Godzilla. So I was like, yes. And then um, Watanabe, I think, he started explaining that it wasn't our monster, that because they realized there's another monster coming for the monster that just hatched out. So and that's the monster that is making the balance in the world, and that's in the column Godzilla. So I realized that was a Godzilla, and so he's coming to kill the monster and I guess save the world. So he became the good guy of the movie. At the beginning, the humans were shooting at him a little bit, but he didn't attack the humans. I guess, of course, he had to move through the buildings, but yeah. You didn't see so much in the beginning when of the fighting scenes between the monsters, but usually, like, they start fighting a little bit and then like some doors close or something. But at the end, you see a big fighting scene. And the main guy, I'm not really sure. I've seen him in other movies. I'm not sure from where I don't know his name either. Here's his name and a list of some movies, and I'm not really sure who he was, but I guess he did a good work. And then we have Ken Watanabe. I know him for sure. He did a good work. And then we had Breaking Bad. He did a pretty good work also. I'm not really sure what else people was in it. I didn't recognize any other people from the movie, but that's alright. And effects wise, it was the best they could have done with nowadays technology. It was pretty good. It was like Pacific Rim, but better, more realistic. They made some changes to Godzilla, of course, and it's also because he wasn't in a suit now. Now it was completely animated. I think it was some motion capture with the guy, the golem. I wanted them to have a. I mean, of course, people will look pretty bad with a guy in a suit again, but they'll bring more the charm of the other movies. But I think they could have done at least like a guy in a suit and then made motion capture on that to make it feel more. But I guess it was all right. The movie had some, young U.S. Army moments, but that's pretty usual with American movies. So they had some music from 2001 in the scene when they're jumping down from a plane. At the beginning, I actually thought in the trailer that they were actually going to jump on Godzilla and try to kill him somehow, because I didn't know there was another monster. But so they actually just did a mission with a nuke, so jumping down from a plane, and you heard like the music from 2001, the one where every time you see the monolith, and you see like all the smoke from all the destroyed buildings, and like you can't see nothing, and that was pretty cool. And it has some great visuals with like upwards from Godzilla, and you saw his size and where his feet. Well, that's like kind of classical from the '98 version, where you see a big foot in the trailers and all that had. And then we have the monster. The monster was like a mix of Orga, a mixture of other kind of insect creatures from our Godzilla movie. It was a mix of like all of them with Orga. So, and the movie had some references. It had the classical, Japanese building getting destroyed, and you could actually see a poster in the back with not a Godzilla, but a creature that looked like the bad guy. It had, the classical nuclear stuff, and it was pretty good. It had some boring moments. If, let's say, here's the beginning and here's the end, and so this part was good, but then this part between the middle and the first part, like between these two, it maybe yawned a little bit, but later on after that, it just was going up all the time. I never yawned. I was into the movie all the time. So at the end, it was a good movie. Of course, it could have done better, but I liked it. So good job. And I actually didn't believe there would be so many people watching the movie on the premiere, but it was a lot of people, especially in Sweden, where actually like nobody knows about Godzilla. So that was good. So I guess the movie's gonna get some money, and who knows, maybe a part 2. That'll be cool. And that's all for me. And yeah, a 4 out of 5. Godzilla.